I got the newest wave. Let's start with Battle Armor Skeletor. Now this wave has 4 characters in it. This wave had Battle Armor Skeletor. It had Snake. It had Serpent. Sorceress Teela, which you know I like. It has the Iron Man like Man at Arms or Man at War, and or Man of War, whatever those names we're gonna go with. Okay, I would have to look at the box again. My brain is a little scattered today. If you're not noticing that, I'm still not 100%. As soon as I started feeling better with all my stuff, my sinuses hit me, and now I've got sinus sickness. So that's a whole fun thing, and it's just, man, it's been a wild month. That's why there haven't been a whole lot of posts. I've just been feeling like crap. But the last one was a merman. And all 4 of the figures in this wave look fantastic. But I fought with myself for a while. Teela most assuredly looks to be one of my favorite of the line. But that's Teela, so of course. However, this guy right here, if you'll remember, we already covered the Origins Battle Armor Skeletor, which I liked a lot because it's Skeletor in battle armor. Like, that doesn't need any further explanation. That's what it is. It's fantastic. We love it. So this, I imagine, is every bit as good. In fact, I've got super high hopes that this is even better. Let's open it. So I get it. I do. I get it. Origins has a lot of nostalgia. Okay? There's a lot of nostalgia there. That's what people grew up with. Those toys remind them of their youth. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is the kind of thing that makes me say I invested in the line, for me, the right line. Masterverse is so shockingly good for being straight up awesome barbarian fantasy influenced toys. Look at that. This is utterly magnificent. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. Talk about the absolute perfect modern update to what we already had. Battle Armor Skeletor. And you can look at the video when I reviewed the Origins Battle Armor Skeletor. I liked him. I loved him. I thought he was cool. But this right here, man, this is it. Look at that face. Articulated jaw. Yes, articulated jaw on a Masterverse Skeletor. That is absolutely sick. He's got a lot of movement here in his head and everything. The battle armor, by the way, doesn't stop any of his movement. He's got full Masterverse movement. So everything that you would expect from all the other Masterverses that have come out, this does not stop him at all. He's got the ram head here, which that's actually a really cool detail. I love this bat. The spikes are good, but like I said, this armor, none of it interferes with his movement. Everything about him was thought out so that he would still be fully capable as an action figure, yet still look like one of the coolest things that we have seen in a very, very long time. This guy is unbelievably solid. And his helmet is sick. Look at that. This is one of the coolest things I have seen out of all of Masterverse. In fact, I would tell you, and I don't know this for sure, but I guess a video needs to be done pretty soon, actually, if you want the truth of it. I really need to go back through And I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to pull every single figure off the shelf, Masterverse-wise. And I'm going to rearrange them so that one shelf is bad guys, one shelf is good guys, or heroes, or whatever you want to say. And then a third shelf will be influenced stuff. Just my other barbarian stuff. Because it is starting to actually show up where I'm getting Golden Axe things, I'm getting Conan the Barbarian, I'm getting other barbarian type characters. So I'll probably do a third shelf which will be inspired barbarians. Or that's not fair because barbarians inspired MOTU, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say here. 3 shelves that cover my biggest thing that I like. And he comes with this axe, which is a dang good axe. That is a really, really cool axe. He comes with this sword, which I like this design quite a bit, and we've seen this sword before. And then, of course, he comes with battle armor plates to have him actually have battle damage. So you could pull this off. It's that simple. And you can then slip this in there, snap it in. It actually shouldn't be too difficult. I don't know why. I just had a little... There we go. I got it. There. Real time. It's snapped in. And now he has damage. He can take an axe to the chest, which that's almost perfect, by the way. The way that works out in there. Let me get that focused again. That's almost perfect. Everything about this guy is unbelievably cool. For right now, just because he's new, I'm going to flip this plate out. I want him to just have the standard no battle damage plate right now. And I want this in his hand because I think this is absolutely sick. I'll get that in a second. There we go. We've got that in his hand. We've got the helmet. The helmet, as you see, has a little bit of trouble staying on, but I really don't think it's that big of a deal. You push it down on there. There, it's on there. So, there. I got this big, sweet axe. I got him, of course. He is an absolute. He's an absolute. This guy is sick. This guy may actually be in my top 10 MOTU figures, period, now. Of all the Masterverse that I have collected, Masterverse just gets better and better and better. In all honesty, it's almost shocking how Masterverse continues to just knock it out of the park. Like, this guy is shockingly good. And I don't think that he stands alone, by the way. I'm almost positive that he is just the beginning. Like, there's still so much Masterverse that I need to open. And it blows my mind. Because I know there are people that have very specific wants and desires for Masterverse. They want their stuff to look the same as it's always looked. You can argue one way or another. There is a nostalgia to this type of thing. We are older guys collecting our childhood for what it's worth. As some of us, quite literally. So I can understand when Beastman isn't quite the Beastman you want. Or Revelation wasn't quite the show that you wanted it to be. But on a personal note, Revelation is fantastic. I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, it's peak MOTU. But, I mean, I loved Revolution and I loved Revelation. I did. I think those are absolute peak He-Man. Those are peak MOTU. I really do. I can't get enough of it. I finally got a chance to watch some of the CGI show. I don't think that's for me. I don't think that's for me. In fact, I know it's not. I know that it wasn't made with my age in mind. But, like, that show forces me to ask a question about icon status. How much can you change an iconic property before it is no longer what it was? Like, you alter Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you get it to be something else. but it's still Ninja Turtles. From the 80s cartoon to the 2000s cartoon to the 2013 cartoon, all of these are still very much Ninja Turtles. To the new movie that just came out, Mutant Mayhem, it still feels a lot like Ninja Turtles. I watch it, and it's very obvious that it's different, but still enough of it is there that I can still say, this is not my Ninja Turtles. I enjoyed it. I watched it. I had a good time with it. It's not my Turtles necessarily, but it's still the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't feel like it's so far removed that it's no longer what it was. But wow, if that first disc of the He-Man Masters of the Universe Netflix CGI series, it's fine, but it did not feel right to me. It felt like they moved way too far away from the material. But, because now it sounds like we're no longer on track, I am on track. This is what I'm trying to say. That is Skeletor. It is still Skeletor. It is battle armor. It is still exactly, for what it's worth, an item that everybody grew up with. But it's new. It's fresh. It's edgy. It's awesome. It's standout. It's instantly iconic, while being something completely new and yet very familiar. Somehow this hits all the right notes. This feels like you could have sold this as just a Barbarian figure, or as a Conan the Barbarian thing. With a little rework, this could have been Thulsa Doom. Right? Any reason it couldn't have been? And I know Thulsa, that's more a Cole the Conqueror thing, but because most people, because of the way movies seem to permeate culture a lot harder than, say, books nowadays, or even things of that nature, I know that Thulsa Doom gets wound up with Conan a lot more often, as opposed to who he's really supposed to be dealing with. Because realistically, Thulsa Doom, even though he's kind of timeless, so you can have him go against anybody, he's more Conan, he's more Cole the Conqueror, where Conan the Barbarian is really supposed to be dealing with Tathaman. So, but what I'm saying is that this is perfect. Even though I know we just went off on a tirade. That right there is why I love Masterverse. That right there is why I love Masterverse. I mean, I look at these figures, and I see stuff that I instantly recognize, but that it feels new. And to me, most toy lines should be doing this. There should be enough of it there so that it's what it's supposed to be. But it needs to take steps forward. I realize the idea of buying for nostalgia, trying to own the toys of your youth. That is what Origins is for. As far as I am concerned, Origins' primary focus should be on getting out all the stuff that came out originally as toys back in the 80s, then expanding the line and going into new stuff, but still maintaining these are toys that you would have bought when you were a kid. This fits all your Masters of the Universe nostalgia. But with a line like this, and this is going to go to all those people that always like to get on and say, oh, well, classics, 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 classics. I'm going to say something I know people won't love. I'm not a big fan of classics. I'm not. I think they're horrifically overpriced because I realize they're off the market now, and I realize that's what happened. But they are horrifically overpriced by a nostalgia-based market that believes them to be the best toys. But in that era, I did not like the DC classics. I didn't like their bodies. I really didn't like the MOTU classics. I didn't like that, almost that entire era of toys. I think we were almost to the point of what I wanted. This. I like these bodies. I don't quite love what we were doing back then. I really don't. But to give credit to Classics, because it deserves it. It deserves it. Classics made a promise. It was going to be all the toys you grew up with, modernized. And they did it. And boy, did they get to dive deep, man. I've seen some of the classics that have been released. In fact, I've probably seen all the classics that were released. Not in person, but I've seen all of them. And you gotta give credit where credit is due. That toy line is respected for a reason. But Masterverse is not classics. And it doesn't want to be, and it doesn't need to be. It is taking a step forward and being something else, something new, something removed. It is still MOTU at its absolute core. But Masterverse is digging in, just like Classics did, but maintaining its own identity in everything that it does. New Eternia? It's a Masterverse take on the classic toys, but leaning more into Masterverse than leaning into the nostalgia. That's why we get New Eternia stuff that's really cool, because it's just reinvented enough to still be what it needs to be, but be something entirely new. While at the same time, Masterverse is also doing all the modern animations. Revelation, Revolution. While at the same time, now we've got a whole new thing coming where they're going to do classic stuff. Retro, it's going to be like a classic line in Masterverse where they're going to remake all the toys that they've already made, kind of doing what Classics already did. And that's where I'm both excited and not. Because Masterverse is going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting to see those classics come up that Classics already did, but now in a Masterverse style. I couldn't get Classics, but now, you know, I'm all in on Masterverse. It's going to be a really interesting thing to watch this toy line develop further. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's already one of the best toy lines on the market anyway. And this is only going to get better, I think. And he's solid proof of it, man. Battle Armor Skeletor, I'm thrilled to add it to the shelf. I have more MOTU to talk about. I'll be back to talk about the other three in this wave as we go. I'm going to get out of here.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.